Okay. So, um, there is a certain kind of quietness to the depth of my relationship with my dad. Um, Excuse me. I just woke up. So, um, I've already stated that, my parents are divorced. And so I'm going to touch on that again because that's um, a really big part of my relationship with my dad. Um, I have always, I've always loved my dad. And I think what's actually, I don't want to say it's more important, but I think it's important to know that I've always liked my dad. Even, you know, we've we've had there's been a handful of some screaming matches in there, um, and you know a good indicator to know that you like someone is, one, no one really likes to argue, but I think that when you're done with an argument and y'all walk away or however it's ended, you feel either like you're still right and you're like, man, that person just won't pull their head out of the sand or, whatever. When when I would argue with my dad, I I don't remember ever feeling that way. I remember always thinking, oh, gosh, he's right. He's right. And I went too far. And I really regret that I did that. And, just feeling bad. So, uh, my dad has given me one and only one spanking my whole life. And um, and this is from my memory. He could tell you something different, but in my memory, it's only been one spanking. Um, and a total of two times where I was actually in trouble with him. So the spanking. My parents were still married, and I know that it was kind of towards the end of their marriage because we were in what I call the two-story house. And I know because Randy was born and he had a room there, but I don't know if Randy was born yet, if my mom was pregnant with him, but either way, I would not spit my gum out before bed. And so that is my memory of my dad spanking me. And I remember actually my mom like went in to try to get the gum out of my mouth, and I bit her fingers. See, the thing is that I remember this night. And I remember thinking, literally, moments before that they told me to spit the gum out, I was already on my own thinking, I need to spit this gum out. But the fact that they told me, I was like, nope, it's not happening now. So he had to spank it out of me. And I remember during the spanking, I thought to myself, and I was 5, right? Yeah, I was 5. And I remember thinking to myself while he's spanking me, like, I'm never going to upset this man ever again because his hand is so large. So my parents got divorced when Randy was really young. I don't remember the exact date. What I do know is that my mother and my stepdad got married in April of 2002. So, and Randy was born in 2000. And so he doesn't have, I don't think he has any memory of our parents actually being together. So that divorce, like I'm sure many divorces are, but this is the only one I really know. So here we go. It was not amicable. There was nothing really easy about it. It was really nasty. And like I said before in my video to Mariah, is that, I quickly figured out that my parents were not on the same page. And so, but with that being said, and I know in the previous video I was saying that, I played my parents, and I did, but really my biggest memory during that time is I'm very sensitive to people's energies or auras, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, like before I even start talking to someone or like even look at them, I can feel I don't know, I'm just really sensitive to what they're feeling. And I just remember feeling like I knew my dad was just totally heartbroken. And he had a lot of pain. And I remember specifically, actually, there was this one moment where I think I was like 8 years old, and I don't know if I should share certain details just for my dad. I just don't want to share something he doesn't want me to say. So I remember when I was 8 years old and I found my dad. And I remember thinking, Dad thinks he's not doing good enough for us, for me and Randy. And I also was like, after I had that thought, I was like, but he's just so wrong. There was this really horrible custody battle, and it went on for years. I don't know when it, I mean, so from my perspective, I believe it was for 4 years. It could have been longer, it could have been shorter, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And so we were living in Houston, and the court was constantly making us move closer to where my mom was, and she had moved to Austin. Again, I don't know all the details behind that. There obviously were certain things that my dad kept from me. I was a young child. And so I went to 12 different schools during all this moving. There was actually one school, I think it was like, I don't know, Clear Lake or whatever, Clear Lake Elementary, I don't know. There was this one school that I went to, and I went there for 1 week. I think it was like 4 days, honestly. I went there for 4 days, and that was it. But what I'm getting at is that during this time that we were moving, I just decided I'm not going to make any friends. Like, not, oh, I'm just a weird person, so people won't like me and I won't make friends. No, I made a decision to not reach out and make friends because I knew we were probably going to move. And there was just no point for me getting attached. So now it's really hard for me to, I have a lot of social anxiety. And even making this video, all these videos, regardless that, I've been alone making them and it's just me and the phone or Dion's in the other room or something, that it gives me a lot of anxiety having, like posting these things and knowing that I don't know who's going to watch it, but I mean, the potential is that anyone could, and that scares me. But I have to get over that because this is what God is telling me to do. So because I was like kind of giving up on making friends, I really poured myself into helping out with Randy and just loving him and just trying to do anything that my dad might need me to do. And I tried to anticipate his needs. And, I really clung on to my dad and Randy. And so I actually I have told people, because it's true that, when I was younger growing up, my dad was my best friend. And, there was just a lot going on. And like I said, everything's okay now. My dad is remarried this really awesome chick, and she's fantastic. And, and my mom's been remarried, like I said, since 2002. And so everything is fine now. But I mean, it doesn't erase the past. And I think that the whole point, I guess, I think God is having me make these videos because, one, it needs to impact someone. But I think that the way that the influence will actually be made is like kind of knowing my story and how it made me, and how it, contributes to, just kind of who I am today and my thinking process and how and just processing experiences and how I'm trying to, just live my life now. So I think it's all relevant, even though it's not a fantastic memory to go back to. I think I need to definitely appreciate, my unique story. I know that, I'm not the only one whose parents got divorced. I'm not the only one whose parents got divorced when they were young. But it's all, every situation is different and every single person is different. And we all, I could go through the same situation as another person, another female, same age. We could even say it's the exact same situation. But simply because that's a different person, that theoretical girl is going to handle it differently. So this is just, my viewpoint. And So I just, I had this really great respect for my dad, and I still do. And like I said, there's a quietness to the depth of it. And I will actually take this moment to blame him for my awkwardness because he is too. you know, um, an example would be actually that there's more often than not, our phone calls will have at least, 90 seconds of silence. And I think that's okay, I remember that kind of happening once I moved for college, and it was just nice to know that there's another person on the other end of the line, you know, and just for a moment you're not alone. And like I said, my dad and I were really close, and so me moving was really hard, and and in addition to me moving to college, before that I had actually moved myself out of his house and moved to mom's, which I'm sure was a huge slap in the face to him, but I had to do it. He was married to that other gal I had told you about with the walk with Randy and everything, and it was just too much. I was in my last year of high school, and I had my senior project going on. It was just adding on too much. Me trying to take on his marriage, and it not going well. And, and I was 16, and I was just like, I'm going through a breakup. I'm trying to get myself ready to go to a university, and I'm in my last year, and I can't add on a marriage to my plate. So I actually, one day I skipped school, and my mom and I went to the house, and we packed up my stuff, and I wrote him a letter, and I left it on the cabinet. And I hated doing it like that, but this was a time that, look, this woman brought the worst out in my dad. And he was just so on edge pretty much that entire marriage. And I think they were married for 3 years or whatever it was. And so I just the dad I knew that I called my best friend was gone. And I couldn't talk to him the same anymore. And that's just what I felt. And so I was like, if I say this out loud to him in front of his face, it's not going to be good. So I'm just going to write a letter, and I'm going to leave it. I hated doing that. I really did. But, again, everything is fine now. He finally figured out that something is not right with his ex-wife, that lady. And she still has yet to figure out what she needs to do for herself. And, that's her own deal. The point is that my dad finally realized that she's got to do this. And he can't be a part of that. So, I think there's actually only been one other time that I've said this about my dad, and the one other time was in a song called I See You. And I wrote that for him. So, but the thing is that, and I don't think I've ever told my dad this to his face, but because he gave me his awkwardness, y'all, so I can't handle saying it to his face. But I think that it's an unspoken thing, and well, I hope it is, at least. And it, that's what I mean. There's a certain quietness and awkwardness to the depth of our relationship. And so, I'm so happy that I have my dad as my dad, because I think there was a sense there for a moment, and it might still exist, that he, felt like he failed us, or he wasn't doing the right thing as a father, or whatever it was. But I just totally disagree with that. I know that we saw him go through just so much crap, but the thing is that was really good for us to see, because we got to see him handle things in a certain way. And he's a very patient man in my eyes. And so I learned that from him. And I learned from him to also, you need to have moments where, when things start feeling out of control, to step back and take a look at what's going on. Pull yourself out for a moment to clear your head and evaluate. And I'll never forget that, I would say that my work ethic also comes from my dad, or at least a large part of it. He's always told me, if you see something that needs to get done, do it. Don't wait for someone to come and tell you. You know it's supposed to be done, so do it. You know it's right. You know it's wrong. In your grain that certain things need to get done. So I'm really grateful that God set me up with this man as my dad, because I just think he was and still is a really great example for me and my brothers, and really, I think, for anyone. I don't know if he feels that way, but he's got this certain, I don't know how to describe it, just, it's interesting how I don't know how to describe how people carry themselves, but it's the way he carries himself. There's something about, he's reserved. Is that what it is? He's reserved, I guess. And it makes people wonder, the reservation he has, draws people in, what's up with this guy? He's got something going on. What's up with that? You know what I mean? And so, and I'm just starting this company, my company and everything. He's been a huge help. He helped me find the truck and everything. And, He hasn't said it, I don't think, but I know that he's proud of me. And that makes me really happy. And part of me wants to succeed and do good for myself, because my dad actually taught me that. He said, do things for yourself, make yourself proud, succeed for yourself. But there's a part of me that actually wants to continue to succeed for him. And I guess it's just my weird way of giving back to him what he gave to me, even though I won't ever be able to give back exactly what he's given me. And I don't think he realizes how much he's given me and how many of the things that he said when, we were much younger that actually really stuck with me, and has, these things have formed certain parts of me and have really helped me. Like I said before, we're going to be problem solving and handling difficult people forever. And he gave really great examples on how to compose yourself during really tense times, or when you're under, just that extra amount of pressure, or when things are just totally exploding out of your control. So, definitely the patience thing too. Just it's funny because there's a lot of things that one has helped me with people, but also especially like with horses as well. So that's the thing, is that I wouldn't be I would handle things much differently, and probably in the wrong way, if I had not seen my dad go through what he did and then come back on top. I don't know if he feels that way, but that's how I see him. To me, he is, just one of the greatest and most humble men I've ever heard about, known, seen, met, just ever. And I'm just, I'm really blessed that he is my dad. And I feel that I actually get to experience my dad in his best form. His wife might disagree with me, whatever. But, I don't know, just his role as a father, I think, I don't know, I just feel like that's his best form. I'm biased. So, yeah. I hope that even if you don't feel the same way about your dad, I hope that you have some kind of figure in your life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a father figure, just someone who is able to show you how to compose yourself during certain times and how to handle certain things. And sets just a really great example for you on like a comeback kid. So, anyways, I'll leave you with that. And I hope everyone has just a really great day.